Hi everyone, come on, come all. My name is Nir, pleased to have you here. Here's a fun fact about myself. I love loser games. And please know that when I call them that, I mean that in the most loving way possible. Kinda. Genshin is sort of my sunk cost paradox at this point, but I can't say I don't enjoy it. Along that Teyvat world, one of the most noteworthy things, and may I add my personal favorite, are the characters. Not like in a virgin way, like in a wow, they're so well written, haha. And as the story progresses, they get more and more interesting to me. In Sumerian Fontaine, there are so many characters I could write an essay about. Kaveh, definitely one of them. And Kaveh, and did I mention Kaveh? I probably will do a video essay on him someday. I also would like to do something on Lini and Arlecchino too. But anyway, I have a very long list of favorites, but those are the only two that came to mind right now. Nevertheless, the star of today are possibly my two favorite in these past two seasons, Furina and Scaramouche. Yeah, I know, how original, two of the most well-known. But hey, most things are popular for a reason, and say what you will about them, you can't deny that they are well written. And that lovely writing they have is what I want to dissect today. I think these two characters are very similar and also different in some interesting ways. Furthermore, when writing this script, I realized that both of their stories had a bit of an existential element to it, so I thought it would be fun to analyze both of their arcs and how they almost complement each other through the lenses of existentialism. It goes without saying that this video will contain heavy spoilers of the Sumeru and Fontaine arc quest, as well as Furina's legendary quest. And also in general, I recommend you play these missions before watching this so you have better enjoyment and understanding of the video. Without further ado, let's begin.
똑똑똑, 거기 누구 없나요?
I guess we gotta start from the beginning, obviously, so we're gonna go to their creators, which would be RAAAAAAAAAH and Fossilor. As you may well know, Scaramouche was created by RAAAAAAAAH as a prototype vessel, while Furina was created by Fossilors as a result of separating divinity and humanity, Furina being the humanity portion of that separation. And, you know, though Scaramouche isn't a human by the rule the same way Furina is still described by the official Genshin website as a puppet most alike to humanity, which I have no doubt that his creator, RAAAAAAAH, would describe him in a similar fashion as evidently presented through her actions. As said in the artifact set Haskafalo Dreams, everyone clapped, Nir did their homework. When Scaramouche was first created, he would often cry in his sleep. It is after such a display of human emotions that Raiden judges him too weak to be a god or a tool. Thus, she seals the power in him and gives him freedom. And even though Scara would grow to resent this act, it was not done out of malice or contempt for his weakness, but as compassion. Raiden condemned him to freedom as she believed that would be best for him. Fossilors, on the contrary, cannot afford to be as kind to her creation. Though she is very open in her love and admiration for Furina, going as far as to call her flaws and joys everything she wanted to be, and praising her as the perfect human. But, as she put it herself, she cursed her anyway. She entrusts to Furina the somewhat cruel mission of acting Archon, an endeavor that will strip her away from her autonomy and liberty of self to become Fontaine's scapegoat. There are interesting parallels to be drawn here. Furina was considered to be fit enough to fulfill tasks that would usually go beyond what an average person can do despite their humanity, while Scaramouche was deemed too fragile for such things because of his humanity. Both very different outlooks on what humanity means from their creators, and it is those differing views their creators have that leads Furina and Scara to their respective arcs. Raiden, believing that godhood is beyond the human's reach, gives Scara the chance to forge his own fortune, and in a way, she tries to save him the troubles of divinity. Fossilors, who has a lot more faith in humanity's capabilities, trust enough Furina to relay the role of Archon and savior to her. However, it's that very trust Fossilors place on Furina that leaves our poor girl with no liberty. It's the very trust and lack thereof these gods have in their creation's humanity that makes one of them be a depressed guy with no clear knowledge of what he is. Is he a puppet? Is he a human? Is he a god? And the other one, a depressed girl under a lot of pressure who doesn't have even the luxury the other guy has of traveling around to figure stuff out. The true illusion of choice. No matter what their archons intended, in the end, both characters ended with the timeless crisis of what is the meaning of their existence beyond what their origin is or their occupation.
똑똑똑, 거기 누구 없나요?
Immediately following their creation comes a period in their arc I like to dub as the denial of freedom. Sartre, probably one of the biggest influences on existential philosophy, states that humans are condemned to be free, meaning that every individual is in full freedom to make the choices they desire. But they are also in responsibility to accept the consequences of their actions. As the idea of having freedom can be scary and downright unpleasant to some, they come to deny it in sake of their comfort. This is what Sartre called bad faith. It happens when an individual, whether intentionally or not, lives in dissonance with the transcendence or facticity in an effort to deny their autonomy and responsibility of choice. We can look at facticity to be like factual, unchangeable things. You know, like how you look. Well, no, not how you look, but crap, let me think. Like the past, you know, like that's a fact, that's set in stone, you can't change it, no matter what you do, it's a fact, it's facticity. While transcendence, it's like the future, what you can do based on your circumstances. So Sartre believed that you needed to acknowledge both things in order to be truly free. To put it in very simple terms, imagine like facticity, it's like a Lego block, you know? So in your Lego blocks, there are a certain shape, there are a certain color, whatever. Those are facts about it, and they're not changeable, you know, like no matter what you do, the shape and color of your little Lego brick is always going to be the same. While transcendence is what you can do with your little Lego brick. Bad faith would come to be when you are in denial of, say, what your Lego pieces are, or when you refuse to acknowledge the things you can build with what you have. Both of our characters at the start of their arc live under the shadow of bad faith. In Scaramouche's case, he falls into bad faith as some sort of way to cope with his past. His journey begins as a blank page, owning the freedom to find meaning in his life. He himself describes it by stating, "Just think about a sheet of paper. By itself it holds no meaning." Sorry, that's not a good impression. Let's begin again. Just think about a sheet of paper. By itself, it holds no meaning. The content recorded on it is what gives it value. So Scaramouche acknowledges that what gives meaning to someone's life is the things they live through. However, after everything that happened with the 3 quote-unquote betrayals and whatnot, he adds to that same statement. All I had recorded down before were some painful memories and boring human feelings. Such a senseless dribble should have been erased a long time ago. By belittling his past and outright eliminating it later on, but we'll get into that later in a second, we see him have a case of bad faith where facticity is denied and only transcendence exists. He denies his past experience and emotions almost to the point of completely wiping them out of existence as a way to escape the pain and anguish his choices led to. He solely focuses on a future he believes himself to be entitled to, that of divinity. On the opposite side of Scara, there is Furina. In a way, it is like they both have what the other one needs, like a pair of mismatched socks. While Scaramouche fell into bad faith by his own negative understanding of different anecdotes, Furina was never given a chance. She was simply born into it. What do I mean by that? I mean that Furina never had the chance to experience what freedom was. From the moment of her creation, she's thrown into her endless masquerade of being a Hydro Archon. To her, there is simply the now, the duty that she must hold herself up to. The fact that she's an Archon, well, Archon quote-unquote. To put it in existentialism terms, she lives in a state of a bad faith where there is facticity with no transcendence. Furina has her freedom denied by external circumstances, such as the pressure of her job and her social status. Everything she does in 500 years is in the sake of others. As some sort of martyr, she gives up her liberty to craft her own future and be her true self so others can be saved. Alternatively, you can also view their lack of true freedom through the lenses of humanity versus godhood. Furina is not truly free as she must fight with her true self, open brackets, her humanity, close brackets, to better mimic divinity. While Scaramouche is the same, except he does not wish to only play pretend, but to actually become a divine being. At the end of the day, whether it is by external forces or their own, they both deny their freedom. Scaramouche only holds on to his transcendence. I can become a god, I am a god. But he ignores all the facticity he has, the fact that he is a human, that he was born a human, that he had people he cared about, that, again, quote-unquote, betrayed him. While Furina only has facticity. I am an Archon, I must do this. I cannot be thinking about what I'm gonna do tomorrow because that's not important right now. What's important is now, what I have to do right now. And so they both are a nice textbook example of what bad faith is and how one falls into it. By not acknowledging the past and by not being able to foresee a future.
똑똑똑, 거기 누구 없나요?
The acceptance of freedom for these two begins when their stories reach a climax. In Furina's case, once the curtain calls, she packs her bags and things and sets off to live life how she wishes. It is told to us in Furina's character story 5 that in the aftermath of the Fontaine prophecy, she falls into a bit of a depressive state, dedicating to insightful and fun activities like bed rotting and staring at the ceiling. As we had discussed earlier, in Furina's life there was only ever facticity, the present, what needs to be done today, now. Her duties as an archon, her performance, her masquerade, more adjectives, blah 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 blah. When the curtain calls, when the prophecy is over, it's the first time she's truly free. She finally gains transcendence, an opportunity to decide what to do with her future. But you know, not unlike me deciding a major, she doesn't know what the fuck to do. So, because it's scary, it's a whole world opening up to you, and it's hard making a choice. What do you even do? So she struggles a lot with this. She sees this new freedom not really as a gift or an opportunity, but as a sign that she is now useless. As said in her character story 5, in circumstances such as these, didn't free simply mean being someone who no one needed. Having always focused on factual things like the present, suddenly having absolute freedom, and by extension having to decide what to do with this freedom, having to craft a future, having to decide a major, it's very scary, okay? But the takeaway of this story, of the story number 5, is that it does not have to be such a terrible and dreadful thing. Because again, that same story says that, you know, after some days of bed rotting, Furina is eventually dragged out of her house by Chlorine to a friend gathering, and after which Furina gains a bit of comfort in her newfound freedom. As it says, she still knew not where to go, but if nothing else, she now knew that freedom did not mean solitude. Truly lovely. I love her so much. I'm so happy she's happy. Anyway, let's go back to Scaramouche. How is he doing? Okay. Oh. Scaramouche must break out of his bad faith by accepting facticity. In other words, acknowledge his past and the choices he made. The first time he has to do this happens The first time he has to do this happens in Irminsul. Oh my god, why did I say it like that? The first time this happens is in Irminsul. There, I said it correctly. Scara looks into the truth of his first betrayal. Or rather second betrayal, I guess. You know, the one with Newa and Dottore and all that. Anyway, it is then when he realizes that everything he had believed was a lie, and by consequences, every decision he made because of this event was the wrong one. But he does not accept this immediately. Rather, he opts to once again deny it by completely erasing himself out of existence. After the deletion of his memories, Scara is just wandering, oh my god, foreshadowing, feeling a sense of loss, like something in him is missing. In comes the traveler Nahida, offering to fill in the gaps and briefly letting him know the type of interesting fella he used to be. They offer to let him know the entirety of his missing memories, and Nahida warns him that he may very well not like what he sees. But nevertheless, he pushes forward and asks to know more of his past. And in a way, it is this his first step into accepting his authentic self. He could have ignored Nahida and Traveler and carry on with bliss for ignorance, but he doesn't. He follows them as they guide him through his past memories and prepares to accept the sorrow and anger of his past once more. Though at this point, both characters have not fully come into terms with the truth of their freedom, it is here when they start warming up to the idea and greeting the facticity and transcendence they had been missing respectively.
똑똑똑. 거기 누구 없나요?
The world of Tevat has a way of congratulating those who work hard or that have gone through a lot through visions. Gifts from the gods, nods of recognitions for those that have earned them. And I cannot think of a better deserved moment than those two winning a vision. Furina and Scaramouche are, to this date, assuming I get this video out before Natlan comes, the only playable characters that we see receive their vision on screen, and that makes me so happy. We have seen the two of them navigate through their internal turmoil and the obstacles on their way, and we also see them come out the other side, better versions of themselves. So in the character information thingy, everyone has a segment describing how and when they got their vision. And Interestingly, in Furina and Scaramouche's case, it describes not only how they got their vision, but also the moment they welcomed freedom. Scaramouche, when he regains his memory, he says he sees memorabilia of his previous life. You know, he sees all these different personas he used to be, Kunikusushi, Kabukimono, and Scaramouche, the balladeer. And he kind of like comes to terms with them, and there's actually this whole animation of him holding hands with Scaramouche and then just becoming one. That is him accepting all of it, accepting the facticity he had been missing all this time. To quote the little segment I was talking about, to accept the past is to acknowledge its failings, to recognize that one is not but a coward who has achieved nothing, who has nothing. But only by doing so could he break free of his shackles and become once again the tragic person. So you see, becoming that tragic person is accepting it, accepting that he is Kabukimono, he is Scaramouche, he is all of these people. And now he accepts who he is, and now he can move forward. Freedom, baby! For Furina, this moment comes when she is practically pushed into performing again. Though doubt and anxiety consume her when she is up in the stage, and not unlike me doing a public presentation. So she's in the stage, panicking, going through her PTSD naturally. Small tangent, I really hated how the Traveler treated my girl Furina there. Like, oh my god, zero regard for boundaries. I hated him in that scene, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But when she is in the stage, she kind of gains some clarity on her situation, on her existential crisis, like the little vision thingy story says. As to the question of what to do next, which had plagued her for so long, she now had a clear answer: to see this world from the perspective of the audience and create the greatest performance without stepping on stage. Meaning becoming a director, or you know, those people that help behind stage. I don't remember their names right now, okay? Sue me, it's fucking 4 a.m. So it is then when a vision graces her, symbolizing a new beginning in a life that embraces freedom. I think I forgot to say this at Scaramouche, oh my god. But when Scaramouche accepts him, when all of this beautiful thing of him accepting all of his personas or whatever, an animal vision falls from the sky, symbolizing his freedom. And the same goes with Furina. When she finally gains the transcendence she needed, when she finally knows where to go, what to do, the Hydro vision falls from the sky, gracing her. Good job, Furina. You answered the age-old question, what the fuck to do with my life. Good job, Scaramouche. You stopped being in denial. Yay!
똑똑똑. 거기 누구 없나요?
In his book Being a Nothingness, Sartre poses 3 examples of people living under the shadow of bad faith. He imagines a waiter, a little too precise, too eager to please, too solicitous. Someone that deceives himself by watering down his entire existence to be that of the waiter. He then gives the example of a homosexual man, one that fools himself by denying his past gay experiences and trying to convince himself that he has been born anew. Using the language we have been using across the video, the first example, the example of the waiter, is someone who has facticity but no transcendence, no objective to be more than what they currently are. While the second example, the one of the gay man, is about someone with no facticity, someone that does not recognize their past experiences and tries to build a future while denying facts about himself. Does this sound familiar in any way, shape, or form? Furina de Fontaine would come to personify the example of the waiter, thinking that all she is a martyr to her people, while Scaramouche perfectly exemplifies the example of the gay man by being gay himself. By denying his past as a human and believing he has been born anew as a divine being. And so, in their existence, they do not find peace of mind until they both fully grasp the things they're missing. When we see the two of them again, they are finally at a point where they are fully comfortable with the freedom that cost them so much to achieve and accept. Wanderer, on his behalf, can be seen wandering around in Sumeru, having finally come to terms with his past self and calmly taking in the views his new life has to offer. As for our dearest Furina, we see her again in events, living a life of complete control over what she wishes to do. She's a director, still nurturing her love and passion for the performing arts behind the scenes. The journeys of Scaramouche and Furina are very interesting to me because of how human they felt, by which I mean that if we look at the very core of their arc, the things they go through are things that I fear most people deal with or have dealt with. I think we all have experiences we rather erase and act as if they never happened, or we have been in tough situations that seem so hopeless that when you finally do get out of them, you just find yourself at a loss on where to go next, since you never imagined you would be out of that situation. And in that regard, reading and analyzing these stories is in some kind of way inspiring, because they can be seen as a lesson that, I know as corny as it may sound, in the same way that we are capable of enduring similar pain to these characters we relate to, we could also be capable of taking the steps they do in dealing and moving forward from that pain. Though you won't get a vision to commemorate the occasion, I'm sorry. But you will get peace though. And isn't that what we're all after? Haha, hihi, ho. Though maybe that is a bit corny, and maybe I'm reading too much into things, but nevertheless, I think it's a fun exercise to take these stories we love and explore them using real-life concepts. And yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe learned a new thing or two. My name is Neer and I have been your host today. Good night. Hope to see you again someday. Oh my fucking god, the video is finally over. Oh my gosh. I never thought I'd finish it, honestly. I thought it was just gonna be one of those things that are just roaming in my head and that I never actually do. But oh my god, I finished it! Yay! Yay me. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I love you so much. Like, I cannot physically express how much I really fucking love you. Like, mwah, 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 mwah. Much love and admiration and all positive things to you. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I had a time editing, but I did enjoy writing it, so yay! Sorry, I don't know what to say. I'm just so thankful and tired and happy. Yay! Oh yeah, if you liked the video, please do leave a like, and if you have any question, comments, or anything, leave a comment. I'll be sure to read them and answer, probably. Please be nice to me. This is my first video and it took me a really long time and effort, and I'm also very tired. So you're legally obligated to be nice to me. Thank you. And yeah, please follow me on all my socials. It's near.thealchemist, literally everywhere. Have a nice day. Thank you again for watching.